The Loch Ness Horror. Is this a bad movie? Let's get into it. The Loch Ness Horror is from 1982, it lasts about an hour and a half. And the whole movie is set in and around Loch Ness. That filmed in Nevada. Yes. And if you're thinking, well, at least they used Scottish actors. They did not. They sure did not. Listen to these accents.
The coupling cannot be called in the vernacular a quickie.
Preserved? It sounds like you want to pickle her in vinegar.
It's terrible. What's the tagline for the Loch Ness Horror? It is alive. The movie opens with a long opening shot of what's supposedly Loch Ness. Long shot. Takes ages. It does. We're told it's 1940 and we see, I guess, a typical Scotsman looking out of his castle window through a telescope. Yeah, he's in all the regimental gear, because this is what Scots people wear all the time in 1940. Yeah, well, he sees a German plane going down in the loch. He also sees the Loch Ness monster. Yeah, Nessie herself.
And the monster bent down and said, I need about 350.
And then we cut to 4 decades later. Yeah, the year of the Scot. Is that a real thing? It is not a real thing. I've never heard of the year of the Scot. But we're still in Loch Ness. We see some Nessie hunters, Red and Shorty. They go under the water and they see the monster up close. And it looks... it's a big sniling thing. Yeah, it looks like... See the front of a kid's roller coaster ride? Oh yeah, it does look like that. Yeah. It's cheap. And then I see a lot of bubbles, and apparently this means Shorty is dead. Yeah, we don't actually see a death. So Red makes it back to the shore. He meets up with their other colleague, Professor Pratt. And he does not care, and actually Red doesn't even care that Shorty's dead.
Where the devil is Shorty?
Shorty won't be coming back.
What the hell do you mean by that?
Ah, forget him. We hit the jackpot, man.
Yeah, they found an egg. One of the Loch Ness Monster's eggs. We then meet Professor Sanderson and Spencer Dean, another American like Red and his gang. And they want to study Nessie. So they go to meet Jack Stewart, he's the guy from earlier. He's the guy who we saw 40 years earlier. He's now an older man. And he has a granddaughter, Kathleen. Yeah, her and Sanderson obviously fancy each other straight away. Yeah, so they go to him and say, where's the best place to look for the Loch Ness Monster? In Loch Ness? Yeah, I don't know if they're looking for specific coordinates or whatever. But they go out and look for the monster. They don't see it just yet. And then they cut again and they see these people. Yeah, you see the worst thing you can meet on a Scottish country road. Cyclists. And they're singing. Yeah, they're singing Loch Lomond. Not even a Loch Ness song. I don't know if there is a Loch Ness song, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's all the same to Americans, I guess. It turns out this is a group of American students, along with their teacher. They're here at Loch Ness to study the monster, or the myth of the monster, or something, I don't know. While the students are setting up camp that night, in another part of the forest, we see Red lying in his sleeping bag. While Professor Tratt is in the caravan nice and cosy, Red has to sleep outside. Yeah. And then Nessie appears. Nessie? Yeah, Nessie. And drags Red off in his sleeping bag into the loch. And presumably eats him. Professor Tratt sees this and does nothing, just looks out the window like, oh well. The next day, a couple of the students sneak off to a small island across the loch so that they can drink some alcohol and make out. Yeah, and while they're there, they meet this crazy old Scottish guy, and he jumps out and he's like, oh, what are you doing here? And he kind of like attacks them a little bit. A little bit, yeah. Well, then they kill him. Yeah, I don't think they mean to, but...
Having reviewed the footage, I can see actually it's murder, plain and simple.
Nothing comes of this. That's true. But Nessie has been watching it all. The two students get back into the little paddle boat, get back in the loch and start to head back to camp. Yeah, now it's dark. Oh yeah, it's instantly dark even though no time has passed since they killed the guy. Anyway, they're paddling across the loch and of course Nessie comes up, tosses a bottle over and just kills the guy. The girl gets away. Yeah, she makes it back to shore. She says what has happened. She says, oh, there's a monster that's eating my boyfriend. And that's the last they'll see of the students. Yeah, they're not in it anymore after that. Bit pointless, bit strange, bit rubbish. Yeah. So the army are called in. Yeah, Dad's army. Look at the age of this guy. Yeah, well, the army are called in. They set up roadblocks for some reason, as if Nessie's going to try and escape on foot. But they've got roadblocks set up. While all this is going on, for some reason, Professor Pratt takes Kathleen hostage. Yeah, he ties her in the back of his little canter van, drives along to an army roadblock, tilts a gun on these guys. Yeah, but he's also got the egg, so Nessie is given chase on foot. Yeah, and Nessie hides behind a tree at one point. Yeah. It's a good job in this movie, Nessie is only a head and a neck. We never see the body. And then while Professor Pratt is pointing the gun at the army guys, Nessie peeks out and they all start to shoot at it. No effect at all for some reason. Apparently it's unkillable by bullets. Yeah, I don't know why the bullets don't work. Anyway, Nessie throws one of the army guys away. The other one just seems to vanish. Yeah, we don't see the second one again. And then it bites Professor Pratt's arm. Yeah, for a long time. Yeah, this is a long scene. And Professor Pratt's got blood coming out his knife. It's his arm that's being bitten. Yeah, it's a bit strange. Anyway, Nessie moves on to his head next. Just bites his head for ages, nice and gently, but then kills him. So Professor Pratt is dead. Kathleen just gets her little handcuffs off and just leaves. Yeah, Nessie just watches her for ages. Yeah, it's a bit strange. Anyway, the army have decided they're going to blow up Nessie. Yeah, they better use a NASA dawn because it's a big area. A big body of water. It's a very big body of water. The actual Loch Ness holds more water than all of the lakes in England and Wales combined. And there's a lot of them. But they know exactly where to look somehow, so they send out one soldier and one civilian diver they've hired in for the job. Yes, civilian diver jumps into the water, he's got a dawn, given to untie the army. He meets Nessie, gets killed. Poor guy. Yeah, he's just doing his job. But anyway, he's killed. A lot of blood here. Yeah, there is quite a bit of blood in this scene. Still totally unclear what's happening. Yeah, none of the kills are actually kills, as far as you can tell. But people end up dead. Anyway, the bomb goes off. Yeah, Nessie is dead, just like that. They've killed Nessie. Kathleen and Sanderson are looking on, all sad. But then they realise they've still got the egg, which was in Professor Pratt's camper van. So they say, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, and then they just drop the egg in the water. The Nessie name will live on. As long as it's not eaten or broken. Yeah, good point. They just like drop it in the water and leave. Well, they kiss and then they leave. And then that's the end of the movie. Yeah, absolute rubbish. Really, really, really bad. So I was just going to ask you if this is a bad movie, but I guess you've made your feelings clear. I think I'm going to agree with you on this one. This is a bad movie. It's just dull as well. It is a bit. The kills don't make sense. They don't look like kills. The characters, the accents are awful. The acting would be okay if it wasn't for the accents. Really? Well, not great, but okay. I don't know how they remade this. What? They remade this last year? 2024? You think so? Oh my goodness. Well, I can tell you we're not going to be watching that. Yes, we are. No, we're not. Anyway, let us know what you think of the Loch Ness horror. Like, hit subscribe, watch another video.